I know you told me you voted for President Trump. What were you hoping that he would do?
I was hoping he would did something that made sense regarding the economy.
Americans voted for Trump. You're finally getting the recession that you voted for. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for you to all get exactly what you voted for.
Yeah, we voted for Trump in 2016, 2020, and 2024. We live in the Florida Panhandle, and we thought that this would be good for our business, but we're finding out now that we were wrong, and I want to publicly say that we are regretting our votes.
A campaign promises eats your wallet. I mean, that's what is happening in America at the moment. People voted for Trump thinking that no man is going to eat their wallet and leave it, Okay, most of us, we do vote for those people that will bring more money to our wallet, not taking more money from our wallet, because taking means that you're going to, make our businesses go down, and also the economy is going to go high, interests are going to be high. So in today's video, that's what you're going to talk about, Trump voters coming out on social media platforms, crying, complaining, and of course, with that being said, we need to listen to a couple of videos first, and then we come back and do a proper analysis.
I've already appealed. I'm gonna fight for my job back. I took an oath of office to fight for this administration, and although I don't agree what's happening or what's going on, please, I don't want to hear the negative stuff. I don't want to hear it. We're going through it right now. All us government, all us federal employees are going through it. So the negative stuff, it doesn't help. This sucks.
This is the perfect kind of example of a Trump supporter that I will not support and I will not meet halfway. Because this is someone who wants to skip the step of accountability. She voted for this man. She lost her job because she voted for this man. Yet she says she still supports this administration and wants to get her job back. She wants all of us to feel sorry for her that she lost her job. For all of us that said that this was going to happen, that warned her, to feel bad for her and skip the step of saying, hey, you did this. You're the cause of it. Now you have to deal with the consequences. No, she wants us all just to skip that part and just feel bad for her. She has not learned anything. She has not learned how her vote has caused her to lose her job, and she would rather have us feel bad for her than have us say to her, this is what you did, take some accountability, take some responsibility. She only speaks about how she's appealing for her job. Screw all the thousands of people that also lost their job right along with her, whether they voted for him or didn't vote for them. How is she fighting back for those people? This is the type of person that I say, you effed around and now you're finding out. And you deserve it. You deserve exactly what's happening to you. I don't know. What do you guys think? All my love.
I know you told me you voted for President Trump. What were you hoping that he would do?
I was hoping he would did something that made sense regarding the economy.
Oh, he's definitely doing that.
Made some kind of progress in bettering, the benefits of being a veteran.
Yeah, like investing in the programs and the housing he just announced.
But now it just feels like all about me, Donald Trump.
Another fake news story. There's no way this guy voted for Trump.
Not, the guy out there working in the trenches trying to make ends meet, trying to pay a mortgage, trying to pay the bills. It goes against everything I expected when, I voted for him.
You would think they would do a better job at finding people to do these interviews, but man, that was just painful.
So folks, as you may know, a group of Afrikaners, white South Africans have come over to the United States this week, and it's first load of South Africans to assist and help revitalize the farming industry in the United States, and it's quite controversial, as you know. Well, Donald Trump is very disappointed to find out that this group of people who just came over this week actually have no farming experience. They have no knowledge of farming, and none of them actually had farms in South Africa. When they found out that they were actually a collection of security guards, actually part-time rappers, and a guy called Bradley who almost bought a tractor once. So this is obviously a real disappointment, PR exercise failure for the Trump administration. There was even one gentleman that thought irrigation was a TikTok challenge. Folks, the source for this is the BBN. My name is Nick. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and I would love you guys to give me a follow.
Donald Trump is becoming increasingly incoherent, as was on display for the world yesterday at a round table in Qatar. He rambled for more than 25 straight minutes in a nonsensical fashion. Now, sometimes when one is listening to Trump, the sound of his voice makes it hard to focus on the actual words. So I just want to read you a small verbatim transcript of just a section of what he was saying at this roundtable. These are the literal words of the President of the United States. When you look at what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, the drone is killing tremendous numbers of people. You hide behind a tree and the drone comes down and it circles you with fire. You don't have a chance and the tree comes down also, by the way. It's so intense, you see these trees being knocked down like they're being sawed down by a top-of-the-line timberman, like, you know who? Sean Duffy. You know that Sean Duffy, the head of the transportation department, who's working right now on the airports and getting a system because Biden didn't do a thing for 4 years, and Pete Buttigieg was the head, and he goes bicycling to work. He takes a bicycle to work. Can you believe it? He's head. He's running the biggest air system in the world, and he takes a bicycle to work. And they say he's going to run for president. I don't see it. Who knows, right? But I don't see it. But when I look at what they've done, it's so horrible what they've done, and the work they did do, they wasted billions of dollars. They tried to hook up air systems to copper. They tried to hook up copper to glass, and the glass doesn't work with the copper. And they had 30,000 different contractors doing 30,000 jobs. And when they put it all together, they spent billions of dollars. It didn't even come close to working, and we were going to be giving out a brand new system. It's very important. We'll have the best system, and we think we know who that system is, but we have a lot of bidding. We want one check. We want a unified system. We don't have 5,000 contractors and all different places, some digging ditches and some not doing ditches because they want to go by satellite. Satellite seems to be the way to go, but so we're going to be giving that out pretty soon. But what people don't know about Sean, because I mentioned lumberjacks, that Sean, you probably didn't know this, that I'm not talking about this Sean. This Sean, no, not this is not. This is a different Sean. Sean Duffy, the head of transportation, he's a great Sean, though, I have to tell you. But Sean Duffy was the world champion for 5 years climbing trees. Down, up and down, world champion. So that's what you call a serious lumberjack. And he's doing a fantastic job, too. A really respected guy and terrific guy. And I mentioned the champion because when somebody's the champion, he's the world champion for a long time. He came down. When you come down those trees, coming down at a rapid, he said that it started getting your back. You will often break your back. You miss. You miss a shot, and you're coming down a lot faster than the human body was meant to come down. But he's doing a fantastic job at transportation. But this has been a very historic trip. Trump then continued for more than 20 more minutes. Again, these are the literal words of the President of the United States. You can hear them for yourself at the White House website, on the White House's YouTube channel. They have posted the video for people to see in its entirety. It can be Sometimes it's not helpful to play the game of, can you imagine if Joe Biden did this or if Barack Obama did this? But the fact of the matter is, if any former president had rambled nonsensically for 20 minutes in front of the world stage, the mainstream media would be having reports about whether he had a stroke, whether the 25th Amendment should be invoked, whether the President of the United States is mentally competent to do his job. The fact of the matter is, this is the oldest president to ever have been sworn in, and I've been listening to his speeches for about a decade now, and they are making less sense than ever. And this is not something to take for granted. It is and should be a major news story.
Yeah, we voted for Trump in 2016, 2020, and 2024. We live in the Florida Panhandle, and we thought that this would be good for our business, but we're finding out now that we were wrong, and I want to publicly say that we are regretting our votes at this point. My husband and me own a construction company, and we literally do not have workers anymore. Most of our workers are from Mexico, and they're good, hard workers. I talked to a few of them, and they said they were just too scared to come back to work because of all the raids. Our construction company is likely to go out of business now, and we don't know what we're going to do, but we're never voting for a Republican again. Ron DeSantis and Trump have been passing laws that negatively affect our business, and I just want to say that I'm sorry for voting for him. I grew up Republican, and it's all I've ever known, but now I can see that me and my whole family have been very wrong about this. So we hope that 2026 comes and we can take back the House and the Senate and stop him from what he's doing. There's a special election coming up in Matt Gaetz's district, and we're going to do everything we can to advocate for a Democrat taking that seat.
Listen, I think a lot of people voted for Donald Trump because they took him seriously when he said that his number one priority was going to be lowering costs, and they didn't take him seriously when he said he was going to be a dictator, right? Well, it turned out that he wasn't serious about lowering your costs, and he was serious about being a dictator, right? And so you got a lot of people in this country, you got a lot of people in North Carolina, conservative folks, who thought that this guy cared about the rule of law and that he also cared about lowering prices, who are seeing the real story right now.
Americans voted for Trump. You're finally getting the recession that you voted for. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for you to all get exactly what you voted for. If you didn't vote for Trump, I mean, I'm so sorry if this is happening, genuinely. But if you voted for Trump, you must be thrilled today. You must be thrilled. I mean, egg prices are not down yet. Grocery bills aren't down yet. You are losing your Social Security. You're losing any kind of support you have from the government. But the recession's coming, and you guys are going to crumble. Not only your own economy, the worst out of everyone's, but also the world's economy. How exciting is that for you? You're also losing allies, left, right, and center. Isn't that so thrilling? I'm really glad that you were so racist and transphobic and misogynistic and, quite frankly, insecure and sad in your own little lives. Do you have to take your hate out on other people? And you cause a recession for yourself. Happy for you.
So I think a lot of U.S. voters, especially people on the left, are pretty delusional. They think that a lot of these Trump voters are regretting their votes. Maybe some of the moderate ones are, but a lot of the ones on the further side of the right don't regret their vote. I don't think people realize that in this country, a lot of people, they don't vote to get something. They vote so the people that they hate don't have anything. So even if they bring this country down, they arrest all this research. I'm a researcher. I'm a biochemist by training. I'm also a neuroscientist by training as well. So the freezing of the NIH, the freezing of the CDC communications, the loss of benefits, they do not care that it affects people that look like them. They don't care if it affects people that they know personally and people that they love, because in their mind, that is worth it. If a person that they consider to be a quote unquote DEI is affected more by it, that does more for them than actually gaining something. And I think a lot of people need to realize this because it saves a lot of time in terms of trying to explain stuff to people, trying to explain the statistics, trying to explain like why X, Y, and Z is bad. Because in their mind, when you have a vindictive spirit, a personality that is based on ensuring and solidifying lack for other people, the facts that these same policies can hurt you doesn't matter, because in your mind, that, if you want to call it revenge, get back, hate, retribution, evening the score, whatever you want to call it, all of that is worth it if you can stop who you perceive to be your enemy from getting ahead of you. This is why Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Pete Hegseth can get on national TV hours, less than one day after a horrific, fatal plane accident involving a military plane, and immediately blame DEI, because DEI now is going to be the scapegoat for everything that they want to get through, because they know that there is a rabid contingency within their base that will greenlight, will overlook, and will justify just about anything if you can say that DEI is responsible for the downfall of America. Now, they've politicized this death so horribly that one of the pilots, the parents, had to, withhold her name to put out a statement saying that she was justified in having her spot because they've gone on this DEI rampage. And to a lot of the people that vote Republican now, and I'm not going to mince my words and say some, whatever, a lot of them, in many cases, I would say 90 to 100%, a lot of those people are willing to tank this country. They're really willing to rip apart the American institutions for the facts that they think that DEIs, which is code for Black, female in a lot of cases, right? Mainly Black as a race, but especially Black female people that they don't think are intelligent enough, qualified enough, or good enough to get anything, are getting an advantage over them. And they would rather see institutions be ripped apart, families be ripped apart, the prestige and the seriousness of many jobs be undermined. In the case of, air traffic controllers, scientists, whatever, they would rather see all of that undermined than to live with the perception that someone that they feel is unqualified is getting one over on them. And I think people need to really come to terms with that. They need to accept that, because that will save you a lot of time and energy arguing in favor of the Constitution, arguing in favor of this, arguing in favor of that, because these their thought process is not based in the Constitution. When you argue with someone, when you have a discussion, when you are doing a debate, the key tenet of debate is that both parties are coming from the debate with the same premise, but their conclusions are different. But if the other person's premise is not based in reality, you arguing with them is not going to make any difference to how they perceive your point of view. So cut the shit, save yourself the trouble, stop arguing with these people, let them go. They're a lost cause, okay?
So in one word, how will you rate the economy of America at the moment? Kindly comment down below in the comment section. So what people are saying at the moment is that, you see, these Trump voters, what they wanted was to see other people suffer. I don't know how. I mean, their main aim was just to vote for Trump so that, other people can suffer. Anyway, I don't think so, because even if it's suffering, it's also this person that voted. But I can tell you, these things to do with high tariffs, medical cut, all this, they have really affected the people of America, especially the peasants, the farmers. They have been crying left, right, center, because they thought that by voting for Trump, everything was going to change, like in a positive way. There was going to be more businesses. Others thought that, they were going to open branches all over the continent. And guess what? Some are even closing down. loss of job was one of the thing that ever happened. And you remember the medical aid cuts that already happened in America. I mean, it led to massive job losses, and some of these people that lost jobs are among the people that voted for Trump, And I believe that you never know until it hits you like directly. But honestly speaking, it makes me feel like laughing at the moment when I hear some Republicans asking Democrats, like, why are you not coming up and shouting in social media? And I'm like, how are they even involved in that? Because they are not they are not the problem. They're suffering because of what these Republicans did. And that's what is happening at the moment. So I don't see any need of any person coming out to complain and asking, like, why are the Democrats not complaining about this? Remember, some are like, okay, I can't regret voting because I did not know that this was going to happen. Honestly, we can agree with you on that. Some Democrats honestly are like cheering on, and they're like, yeah, it's good that you're feeling it, because by then when we're telling you that you vote for Kamala, you didn't want to listen, and now see, you're the one crying here. You want us to feel pity, you want us to feel sorry for you, and yet it's you who casted the vote. By then, like, trying to explain to you so many things you could not understand. But at the moment, now that it has hit you and you have lost your job and you're crying here, why will you want us to cry with you? And yet we already told you that the best person to vote for was Kamala Harris. Look at the massive deportation that happened immediately after Trump came in. My God, did anyone even anticipate about all this massive deportation? Nobody. I remember watching a clip by then, but of which we also have over here, a clip of this American business family. They had a construction company, and the people that they were employing frequently were the Mexicans, and now they have gone to their hidden spots. Some have been deported, and that means that their construction sites, they don't have people to work on their sites, which they really feel bad. And remember, they voted for Trump at the same time. So when Trump came in and was actually campaigning, he was like, the tariffs are going to be down at least 10%. And most business people were like, yeah, I like that idea, I like it. And 10% is so low for a business owner. Tariffs are taxes imposed on imported goods. So you can imagine you're an importer in America, and then they impose 10% tax on your goods. Of course, you'll be happy and you'll be like, yeah, I'm going for this, I'm going for this. Only for Trump to do the opposite and really hike these tariff rates to the point of, businesses closing down because they couldn't afford the high tariff. Anyway, another thing that was cut was medical aid. My God, that also was extremely sad. And also during the campaign last year, he promised low interest rates. But what are the interest rates at the moment? Those who live in America, kindly let us know, because Americans are not feeling good, because everything that we just discussed like just a few seconds ago came out to be the opposite. Like, low interest, now it's high interest, low tariff, everything. Oh my God, I would say that was really unexpected. And of course, people are finding America like extremely expensive to live in at the moment. I'm wondering, like, in America, 2,000 USD is nothing there, like 2,000 USD in a month. Oh my God, in Africa, 2,000 USD is a lot. Like, you can even buy a land and start a small construction and you'll be good to go. And the good thing of Africa is that we really care about each other. Like, if you find an homeless African, it's either they are mentally unstable or they have mental issues mostly, or they just want to be outside there. Otherwise, if actually you are just stable and you are good, not really like stable in terms of finances, because of course most Africans, we are not like really financially stable. But I can tell you, despite that challenge, we have homes where we go to in the evening, and then life is just good over here. People are so social, we interact with each other, you laugh, you get to greet your neighbor. And also, life is just at its fullest. When you want to go to the supermarket, not just the supermarket, when you want to buy your food, you either grow them in your farm or go to the market and you buy this food from the farmers who just brought them to the market. Which I hear, I have never been to America, but I hear that in America it takes like a really long process, like from the farm to the warehouse, from the warehouse back to the farmer, and then I don't know where to the supermarket. It's a long process, and then again you have to store these foods in the freezer, which is quite opposite for us, because we just buy, like, it's the produce they're there in the market like on a daily basis, so you can decide to be buying them daily. I mean, life is just good over here, and I thank God that I'm an African. I live in Africa. I was born in Africa, you know. Okay, of course, also the West has the best, the Americans have the best of the best, and that brings me to the point of, you know, we are not equal and we'll never be equal. It doesn't matter if it's like from country to country, but also on a personal level, you know. So what can we do about these Americans that are crying? Because the people that are crying are the Republicans, and you know, it feels so weird for me when I see them crying. But during the campaigns, people were happy, celebrating, like Team Red, and there was this other Team Blue, and at the moment, all of them, you know, they are suffering. I know so many people are suffering in silence, but also others have decided to come out and speak on social media, and that tells you that that is depression. Because, you know, probably this person is almost being kicked out, you know, and you know, in America, like, you'll find homeless people, not because they cannot, like, not because they are mentally unstable, but because they cannot afford rent. Like, rent is super expensive. Oh my God, like, it's really, this world is balanced, somehow complicated, I would say. So there is this story that has been trending where Trump called the homeless white people in South Africa, more so the Afrikaners, like he told them, hey man, you need to come back to America, you know, come and farm our lands, come and till the lands, come and produce foods to the people of America. And I know that was inspired by these Afrikaners, you know, Afrikaners who live in a small town called Orania in South Africa. These people, they have a very huge parcel of land. In that town, it's only the Afrikaners, the white South Africans, who are allowed to live there. There is no black person that is allowed to live there. Even South Africans alone, they have their own system, their own currency, their own governance, everything. And Trump recently told them to go back to America and, you know, at least add value to their, you know, agriculture section. So they went back. But you know what happened? Trump actually noticed that they know nothing about agriculture. So I was like, so you mean these people that call themselves farmers in South Africa, specifically Orania, the Afrikaners, does it mean that they depend so much on South Africans only when it comes to giving them these farming jobs or what? Because at the same time, we are getting this picture that black people are not allowed there. So that could probably mean they're not allowed to live there, to go to their schools and all that, but they get jobs in Orania, and that is what has been happening. This, you know, wheat that has always been grown there. Because guys, if you see videos of Orania, the farms are so huge, and some of them have lived there for like 100 years, like the generation, of course. And you know, Trump was very disappointed to learn that these people, they don't even know anything to do with farming. They are clueless. And now, oh my God, that is a story for another day. Anyway, so thank you so much if you watched the video up to this point. I truly appreciate your presence here. Kindly hit that subscribe button, and yeah, I appreciate your support. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.